What's good, superstars? Back with another dividend snowball video. Yes, we're changing it up a little bit. You're going to hear about the changes in the video, but first we're going to recap what's been happening so far. The existing rules are buy a weekly paying ETF for each day of the week, invest distributions into the closest upcoming ex-dividend date ETF, and then reevaluate the holding size on a monthly basis, track results. We've been doing this since October 6th, so it's been about 3 months, I guess you could say. And there needs to be some changes. So we want to keep this series fun. We want to keep it going. Weekly high paying ETFs, high income yielding funds might not be the way. We might be taking this way back, slowing it down, going with the tried and true. But I'm going to explain that in just a bit. But let's look at the results so far. So currently we are down 14% or $140. Even if you take into account the 1.5% that I start in the hole because I was converting Canadian to USD, I'm still down around 12.5%, 13% on this in 3 months. So unacceptable. Not what we want to be doing. We're not snowballing. Instead, we're melting in the sunshine over here. Okay. So you can see the book value after drip. We've only had like $112 worth of distributions, which is kind of crazy. It's not even that nuts at all. But from October, you can see we had $8.40. Then we went up to $12, $12. We held $12 for quite a bit of weeks. These are all weeks. And then we started dropping $10, $9, $9, $10. Came back up in December, faked us out because we went down to 8, 8, 9, 8, 8. If I were to graph this, you guys would get the point. All right, 7. Not only that, we have been reinvesting every single distribution, yet our total yield is dropping like a knife. And it looks like it's going to continue to do so because this month or this week, Maggie has a less distribution than the week before already, and that's the only distribution that we got thus far. We had Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Tuesday we got Monday's distribution. I haven't checked if I've gotten NVDW's distribution since the close, but I didn't have it at the close, so that one will have to be reinvested into PLTY if it comes. But anyway, I want to make a long story short. We're changing it up. So if it's next week or if it's beginning of February, we're going to be changing the way this whole thing goes. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be grabbing a stock or an ETF. Doesn't have to be a stock, doesn't have to be an ETF. It's going to stay in the RRSP account. So USD, Canadian, doesn't matter. We're not going to get withholding taxes. And we're going to buy one stock or one share of a stock or one share of an ETF per day for a quarter. Okay, so that's how we're going to get our initial capital up. So for a quarter, we're going to be buying a stock or a share of a stock or an ETF every single day. Might be 10 grand after 3 months. Not sure. We're going to find out what it comes out to just to get the ball rolling. Then the hope is that the distributions will start to fund the snowball. So we got to get a little bit of a base going. You got to pack that first snowball, which will be the first 3 months, because we might have some quarterly payers, right? So I want to make sure that I have a stock or a dividend for every single day that I'm buying. And I'm going to continue buying every single day for a quarter. At that quarter point, we're gonna figure out like what our distributions should be expected to be, and then we'll go from there and see, okay, are we going to continue to buy daily, or are we going to just wait until we get distributions? The thing with quarterly distributions or even monthly distributions is the ex-dividend date is not as predictable as the weeklies. The weeklies have been 2 days before the distribution is when the ex-dividend date is. So you can always make sure you have one for every single day. When it comes to monthlies, some might be an ex-dividend date of a week, some might be an ex-dividend day of 10 days, some might be an ex-dividend day of 1 day. So it's going to be very volatile. So not investing every single day will be kind of weird, but we're going to see how it goes. But for the first 3 months, it's going to be fun. We're going to be buying a stock or a share every single day. How are we going to know when there is an ex-dividend date? Well, if I go over here, this is Snowball Analytics. They have a tool that shows you ex-dividend date calendars. So this is just for stocks. I think they might have an ETF. They have popular dividend funds, and you can also do that for ETFs. And this is for the popular ones. But you can see it has the date of the ex-dividend. So currently we are January 20th. So I would scroll down, and today I would have a couple choices. And we'll look at both charts. I'll look at both of them. I'll also look at like maybe the technical, see where each stock is standing or ETF is standing. If they're like oversold, maybe that'll be one that I pick up. I'm going to have a balloon of different funds, but the goal is to buy something every single day. And if I'm going to be having distributions from these every single day, it'll be easy to carry forward. If I'm going to be having days that I'm missing, maybe on the days that I don't have a distribution moving forward after the 3-month period, maybe those days are days that I will decide to buy a share of something. So I'm going to be having one share of whatever it is every single day. So this one might be a PLTW, XYLD. There's a bunch of January 20th. So a lot more funds than there is stocks for each ex-dividend date. You can see here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We would have had 9 options to buy. And I think we want to buy the day before the ex-dividend date because we want to make sure we hold it through that date. So it would be if the ex-dividend date is tomorrow. So these are the ones we would be looking at, the 21st. And only a couple here. So we have YMAG and SLVO. And this is not every single fund. This is just popular funds like it says at the top here. But I think it's good enough of an indicator. It's got something for every single day of the month, which is good. So if I go to, if I go to stocks and I scroll down to January 21st, I can choose between these ones, right? I have DX, Lowe's, and Colgate Palmolive. So maybe I want one of these. And it also shows you the distribution. So Dynex is a 13% distribution. I would check the chart, obviously. If it's eroding and it's a chart that I don't want to be a part of, maybe I'll accept a 2% dividend. I mean, if it's adding to the snowball, it's adding to the snowball. And fractional shares makes all of this possible. So it also tells you monthly, quarterly, what to expect. Monthlies would be nice because you're going to get them more often, but at what cost, as we saw with our current snowball. So, I mean, right now, $7.79 last month, that last week, that kind of just said it was over for me. Like, I feel like we're going this way. I got to like tilt this around and have it going the other way around because the snowball is shrinking. And it's like we're trying to pack some snow in the Caribbean or in a hot destination. So we're going to be changing the rules up. It's going to be buying one. It's going to be buying one. I don't know. I don't want to put it on here. I'm going to make a new one, but it'll be, instead of buy a weekly paying ETF for each day of the week, it's going to be buy one share of a stock or ETF every single day for 3 quarters. We're going to reevaluate at the end of the 3 quarters, but I want to be buying something every single day. I think that's the whole point of the Daily Snowball. Now, it might not be the same stock every time. Like every month, there might be a monthly, and that day we might not be buying that stock. It might be the same, might not be, but it's going to change it up. We're going to be still reinvesting the distributions into the closest upcoming ex-dividend date. So if I get a distribution on a Tuesday, I'm going to buy the one, I'm going to buy an ETF or a stock that has a dividend or ex-dividend date the next day. So I'm making sure that I hold it through, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to see what happens there. We'll reevaluate I think we're going to be doing this series much more often because it's going to be a lot more fun. We're going to have a lot more funds to follow. It's not just 5 funds like we were doing with this one. This turned into 6. ETH and Alti, flipping, flopping. We added a couple different ones in there, but this is not working out. So we're going to definitely change it up. I want to hear from you guys. Do you like this new idea for the dividend snowball? It's going to be slower, but it might be more positive. It might be a growing dividend or a growing monthly distribution versus a shrinking one, which we're seeing. And we can even look at it from week to week. I'll still use the same type of tracker. But yeah, we're going to have to empty this out. We're going to clear this. We'll use some of these funds for the initial, obviously. But yeah, it could be Canadian funds, could be US funds. I'll check into it. Maybe we'll just keep it all US because we can use the snowball tracker, which is really cool. Or I can always use TradingView and filter by TSX, which is Toronto Stock Exchange, or we can use the US one. I'm not really picky, okay? It's going to be whatever is the best for that day. So like I'm going to be learning a lot about ex-dividend dates through the series, which is good too, right? Because then I'll know, okay, ex-dividend dates are coming up for certain stocks, and I do have different stocks in my retirement plan and all these other plans. So yeah, this is money tests, and we're going to be testing our money in a different way. And this is going to be still doing similar type of concept, probably a lot more conservative than the previous, but I think it's going to be a good one. And like this also shows you like the amount of the dividend. So if you have 1 share, this you'd be getting 53 cents. So it's cool. Like you see, okay, I'm gonna get 53 cents that I can invest into whatever. The hope is you start with that small snowball, even if it's 50 cents a day. that would be $15 for a month, and then maybe the next month it's $17. Maybe the month after that is $20. You know what I mean? And that's the hope. It's a snowball, and it starts small and it grows big. It doesn't do what we're currently seeing with our current portfolio. Yeah, definitely got it. We've returned 12.5%. This is a total distribution, $124. We've returned 12.5%, and we are down 14%. So that means we're like really down like 26%, which is crazy. Crazy. This is not how this is supposed to work. And this money test is proving that these weekly funds may be not the answer for a daily snowball. Good idea in concept, not a good idea the way that it's been acting out. I know we've been unlucky with the timing. Obviously, November and December were not the best months for these funds. January is turning out to start off a little bit hot with, or cool, I guess you can call it, with the Trump tariff scare and the market scare that's going on right now. But it is what it is. We have to be agile. We have to change things up. Maybe we get into some value stocks. We're going into dividend stuff, distributions. So we'll see where we end up. We might end up with 100 different stocks in 3 months. Who knows? So let's see what happens. This is going to be cool too, because you guys can give suggestions in the comments which share or which stock we should buy for that day or current day. Lay it out. Let me know. But I think it's going to be fun to change it up a little bit. And you let me know. Am I making the right call? Is it going to be a fun series? Or do you think it's just going to take 25 years to see $10 of distributions? Because we had $12 for a couple weeks, but very, very short-lived. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, smash the thumbs up button. Hit subscribe if you're new. If you're just watching, if you're just tailgating along, hit subscribe, join the community, join the fam. Help me come up with more ideas for money tests. What kind of tests should we do with our money and or my money? And we can see how the results play out. Guys, I love you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.